So now that you're all relaxed, I'm going to first set the stage for tonight's reading by reviewing the ideas, themes, in the film by Boots Riley, Sorry to Bother You, it's called. And we have to say what a great film he did, and great sort of satire and really out-of-the-box thinking. It's about the takedown of, it's sort of a takedown of corporate culture, for those who didn't see it. Spoiler alerts happening. You know, it's about money and greed and how people sell themselves out for success and money. The main character, Cash, or Cassius, is at a crossroads in his life, and he actually asks himself about the meaning of life. But he gets and about art and how to make money as an artist. Is that possible? And he gets distracted by needing to make money and by getting approval from his girlfriend. So he gets this job as a telemarketer where the goal is to be a power caller, the ones who tell the best lies. He changes his voice to a white voice, helped out by, who's the guy?
Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover. And he becomes, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. And he becomes a power caller, and they're the ones with their very own gold elevator that has an elevated lifestyle. They represent the 1% of our population, so rich and elite that they seem untouchable. Throughout the film, a reality TV show is playing, and it's called I Got the Shit Kicked Out of Me. And it's a metaphor for how we spend our time watching stupid stuff, killing time and our own individuality, and enjoying, and how we also in this culture sort of enjoy watching people get humiliated, like slowing down to watch a car crash. Meanwhile, Cash, as a telemarketer, sells this worry-free program, which essentially offers people not to have to worry about their individuality and join sort of a labor prison thing where they don't have to stress out about living their life. I mean, it's hard to be a human and all the feelings and not numb yourself. Ultimately, worry-free turns people into horse people as a means to increase their efficiency. These equisapiens are naked, tortured abominations that represent everything that's evil about compromising oneself for maximum achievement. They let go of their humanity for corporate America's needs. Sound familiar? So as disturbing as Sorry to Bother You is as a film, it refuses to let us make excuses for not joining the fight for humanity and asks us to stay alive to our own process. As I thought about the themes and this phrase, sorry to bother you, which is said by telemarketers, by the way, who aren't really sorry to be bothering you since it's their job to bother you and sell you something, I realized that sorry to bother you describes an inner state I often feel. And I thought, where did that come from, that obsequious posture? As a kid, I was raised as an army brat. We traveled around, I changed friends and schools. I liked it that way, not being tied down. I thought I was free. And it took me years to realize that I'd been socialized by so many things. The morality of the Catholic Church, there, check. The approval and disapproval of my mother, check. My father's drinking, alcoholism, not to mention the education system that makes it seem like grades are more important than learning. I felt small in these boxes. I developed this weird low self-esteem in which I saw myself as the biggest failure on top of the world. I could never really win. Then, enter, at the age of 50-something, competitive tennis and my coach, Zach. Now, Zach wrote the preface to The Inner Game of Tennis, which was, I think, published in the 70s. And he only teaches inner game work. As a matter of fact, he says that tennis is 80% inner, 15% form, and 5% equipment. You know, because I was worried about my racket one day, and he gave me that story. The first thing he told me when I got on the court, of course I said, sorry, when I made a mistake. And he said, I owed him $1 for each time I said sorry. I was like, ew. And then, when I said, that was lucky, he said, that's $10. right? I think sorry would be more than... But so when I made a good shot that I chalked up to luck, he said it was my natural talent. So I started to walk a little taller. I had talent, dude. And I started to win matches. And even though I was still more comfortable losing matches, I did not have to sell my soul to win, nor did I have to join some elite group of tennis players. Recently, actually a couple weeks ago, I spoke to him about how easier it is for me to lose. He said, it's because you can control losing. Can't control winning. And I said, well, I think it relates to my fear of being disapproved of, because my mother used approval, disapproval, so. And I said, if I let my opponents win, they won't hate me. He asked me, when are you going to bury your mother? Now, see, I was going to see my mother in New York the next week, and she's 95, so I kind of looked at my watch and thought, and then I went, wait, it's a metaphor. He's talking in metaphor. And I said, tomorrow? And the next day, I played a game with a partner who I had lost 3 matches prior, each match going to a third set tiebreaker. If you know what that means, it's horrifying that we would lose that many matches. Anyway, you can ask me later, I'll explain it. Anyway, we won. And I felt so like I had done something. I had broken through something. And I told her about this approval, disapproval, and the not wanting the opponent's disapproval. And she said, well, what about your partners? And I thought, oh, yeah. I was not afraid of my mother's disapproval. My partner's my mother, right? I was not afraid. I was used to that. So I thought, Anyway, I went to that trip to New York. It was to celebrate my daughter-in-law's baby shower and my son's first child, I guess my first grandchild, I have to say that. And I had the best time with my mom, maybe the best time ever. I didn't want anything from her. I had buried my need for approval. And I didn't need to be sorry or lucky. I can be, just me. And that's enough. And I'm not sorry to bother you.